Imagine creating a game so iconic that even the faintest hint of its essence in any new title earns it the dreaded clone label. Well, that's Resident Evil, the horror juggernaut that redefined the genre and the gaming industry itself. With tank controls, fixed angles, and atmospheric dread, it set the standard. But don't be fooled by the clone tag. These games are more than mere knockoffs. They're underrated treasures packed with unique twists that cry out for a resurrection. And in today's video, we will be unearthing these hidden gems that got lost under the behemoth that Resident Evil was. But before we get started, smash that like button, subscribe, and join us on this spine-tingling adventure.
I'll keep you covered, Anna. Do what you have to.
Cold Fear 2005. Cold Fear 2005 set sail at a time when Resident Evil's shadow loomed large over survival horror. Developed by Darkworks and published by Ubisoft, it borrowed that classic blueprint, think tank controls, fixed camera angles, and nerve-wracking resource management, but tossed it into an eerie maritime stew. Instead of a creepy mansion, you're trapped on a haunted naval vessel where every creaking corridor hints at lurking terror. The creative minds at Darkworks weren't interested in merely copying the formula. They reimagined it with a twist, infusing Cold Fear with a unique blend of first-person shooter action and psychological horror. Yes, some critics quickly pegged it as a Resident Evil clone, but a closer look reveals a game that dared to chart its own course. Its atmospheric storytelling, immersive environment, and pulse-pounding moments of dread set it apart from the pack. Cold Fear deserves a second look because it carved its own niche within a crowded genre. By transplanting horror into the claustrophobic corridors of a derelict ship, it introduced players to a world where every creak and shadow hinted at hidden nightmares. This game stands as a testament to the idea that even familiar formulas can be reimagined into something uniquely compelling when approached with creativity and a willingness to push boundaries. Obscure 2005. Obscure 2005 was born when the creative minds at Hydravision Entertainment decided to break the mold of survival horror. Tired of the same old, decrepit mansions, they set their sights on an unlikely setting, a modern high school. The game's plot revolves around a group of students who suddenly find themselves trapped in a nightmare where the familiar school corridors twist into labyrinths of terror. Classrooms transform into eerie chambers, and everyday school life turns into a struggle for survival against grotesque creatures and lurking mysteries. Critics quickly branded it as a Resident Evil knockoff, given its clear nods to classic horror formulas, deliberate movement mechanics, intricate puzzles, and moments designed to make your heart race. Yet, Obscure wasn't content to merely echo its predecessors. It introduced a dynamic cooperative mode where swapping between characters and pooling resources became key to unraveling its mysteries, injecting fresh life into the genre. Visually, while it may not boast today's hyper-realistic graphics, Obscure's deliberately subdued palette and shadow-laden environments perfectly capture an unsettling mood, drawing players into its creepy narrative. By reimagining horror in an unexpected setting and infusing it with collaborative gameplay, Obscure carved out a niche all its own. This cult classic proves that even when borrowing from giants, a game can innovate enough to stand apart and deserve a revisit. Deep Fear 1998. Developed by the creative minds at System Sacom, Deep Fear borrowed familiar survival horror elements from Resident Evil, but wasn't afraid to break the mold. Set aboard at the Big Table Research Facility, the game immediately sucked me into its eerie world of swaying decks and shadowy corridors, where every creak felt like a warning. The story kicks off when a long-lost space capsule crashes into the Pacific after 40 years, delivering a mysterious payload that sets off off a chain reaction of mutations. US Navy operative John Mayer, inexplicably protected by a mere cold, finds himself thrust into chaos when his team and even his pilot Mookie succumb to a monstrous transformation. As the infection spreads, survivors like Jaina Weisberg, accompanied by her unusual companion Anthony, a chimpanzee with a dark secret, join Mayer in his mission. The narrative twists as alliances crumble and desperate battles ensue, making the plot a wild ride of betrayal, mutation, and survival. One feature that truly caught my attention was the game's realistic take on air supply management. There is always a finite air supply in each region of the big table. This air reserve gradually depletes over time and is consumed even faster when gunfire is involved. To replenish it, players must locate air system terminals, each offering different maximum air levels depending on the area. And while the graphics might seem a bit retro today, their dark, brooding quality perfectly captured the claustrophobic, nerve-wracking setting. Deep Fear may share some DNA with other horror classics, but it stood apart by daring to explore new depths, both literally and figuratively. Its innovative twist on a well-known formula makes it a hidden gem that I believe deserves a second dive. Extermination 2001. Extermination 2001 stormed onto the survival horror scene when the genre was in full evolution, and it wasn't content with rehashing old formulas. Developed by an audacious team determined to break the mold, this title throws players into a grim tale set in a once secure facility, now overrun by a mysterious outbreak. Every shadowy corridor and abandoned room pulses with danger, making trust a luxury in a world teetering on the edge of collapse. Marrying classic survival horror staples with innovative twists, Extermination challenges players with relentless resource scarcity and high-stakes decision-making. The constant pressure of managing dwindling supplies forces a strategic approach at every turn, while nerve-wracking encounters keep the adrenaline pumping. Traversing claustrophobic pre-rendered environments, gamers are drawn into a labyrinth of tension and uncertainty, where every step could be their last. Graphically, the game boasts a retro aesthetic that, while dated by modern standards, perfectly amplifies the eerie ambience and sense of isolation. Its dark, atmospheric visuals and haunting soundscapes create an immersive experience that resonates deeply with fans of the genre. Although it bears a resemblance to Resident Evil in its structure, Extermination stands apart thanks to its unexpected narrative twists and dynamic gameplay innovations. For any hardcore gaming aficionado, Extermination is more than just another title. It's a cult classic that redefined horror conventions and continues to challenge and thrill those brave enough to face its nightmarish world. Martian Gothic Unification 2000. Martian Gothic Unification 2000 stands as a singular entry in the survival horror canon, redefining the genre by transporting terror from familiar haunted abodes to the stark, enigmatic realm of Mars. Conceived by a visionary team eager to break free from convention, this title dares to blend Gothic sensibilities with futuristic science fiction, offering an experience that is as cerebral as it is chilling. Set in a fledgling Martian colony, the narrative revolves around a group of pioneers confronting inexplicable phenomena and ancient, hidden terrors beneath the planet's rust-colored surface. The plot unfolds gradually, offering cryptic clues and atmospheric hints that invite players to delve deeper into the mysteries of a world where human ambition collides with something far older and more sinister. In terms of gameplay, Martian Gothic Unification adheres to the core tenets of survival horror, challenging puzzles, strategic resource management, and moments of pulse-quickening suspense. However, it distinguishes itself through innovative mechanics tailored to its extraterrestrial setting, compelling players to navigate treacherous environments where every dimly lit corridor and barren outpost exudes mystery and danger. Visually, the game fuses early 3D character models with meticulously crafted pre-rendered backdrops, capturing the eerie isolation of the Martian landscape with remarkable finesse. While some of its mechanics may echo more traditional Earthbound horrors, Martian Gothic Unification's audacious blend of genres and distinctive narrative approach ensure it remains an underrated gem, a bold experiment in horror that continues continues to intrigue and captivate those seeking a fresh, otherworldly thrill.
What? Who the hell are you?
Carrier 2000. Carrier 2000 holds a special place in the pantheon of survival horror for those of us who crave a raw, unfiltered scare. Developed during a time when the genre was scrambling for fresh ideas, Carrier dared to redefine what horror could be by turning its focus toward the ever-present threat of contagion. This isn't your standard zombie romp, it's a claustrophobic, nerve-wracking plunge into a world where infection is as lethal as any monster lurking in the shadows. Set in a grim, enclosed facility where a mysterious agent turns ordinary people into unrecognizable horrors, Carrier challenges you to navigate its dimly lit, tension-filled corridors with nothing more than limited resources and your wits. While its mechanics share a familiar DNA with classics like Resident Evil, Carrier distinguishes itself with an innovative infection system that forces you to constantly monitor your health and make split-second decisions under mounting pressure. The gameplay is a relentless exercise in survival. Every encounter demands careful resource management, and every decision can mean the difference between salvation and a slow, agonizing demise. Its gritty graphics might lack the polish of later titles, but they amplify the pervasive sense of decay and desperation that defines the game's atmosphere. What truly sets Carrier apart from Resident Evil is its uncompromising commitment to core horror. The fear is palpable, the tension is unyielding, and the dread is ever present. For anyone who revels in a visceral, pulse-pounding horror experience, Carrier remains a cult classic, a title that pushes boundaries and still delivers a heart-stopping thrill every time you play.
So, you've been watching me.
Ever since you escaped from the hospital.
Gallerians, 1999. I vividly remember the first time I dove into Gallerians, 1999, a game that took the survival horror genre into an entirely new dimension. Blending cyberpunk aesthetics with raw terror, Gallerians introduced me to a dystopian future where psychic powers aren't just cool abilities, they're the key to survival. You play as a young protagonist who suddenly awakens with extraordinary mental abilities, only to find that these gifts come with a dark, mysterious past. The narrative weaves together conspiracies and ethical dilemmas, creating a story that's as thought-provoking as it is unsettling. While the game shares some familiar elements with Resident Evil, like atmospheric tension, strategic resource management, and nerve-wracking encounters, it sets itself apart with a unique sci-fi twist. The psychic combat and digital nightmares add layers of complexity that you simply don't see in your typical survival horror fare. Gallerians employs early 3D models combined with pre-rendered backgrounds, crafting a cold, sterile world that feels both futuristic and hauntingly immersive. Every corridor, every shadow hints at secrets waiting to be uncovered. The puzzles are intricate, the resource management is unforgiving, and the overall experience leaves you with a constant sense of dread and curiosity. For a horror aficionado like me, Gallerians remains an unforgettable adventure. It was a cerebral journey into the unknown, where the boundaries between mind and machine blurred. Even after years, this title continues to resonate as a groundbreaking, underrated gem in the annals of survival horror. The X-Files, Resist or Serve, 2004. The X-Files, Resist or Serve, 2004, emerges as a standout chapter in the horror gaming saga, a title that encapsulates the eerie allure of conspiracy and paranormal intrigue with unmistakable fervor. Developed by a team with a keen eye for detail and a love for the macabre, this game dares to transport players into a realm where the boundaries between reality and the unexplained blur into a disquieting tapestry of suspense. Set against a backdrop of dimly lit corridors and enigmatic environments, Resist or Serve challenges you to navigate a labyrinth of hidden clues and unnerving encounters. Every scene is meticulously designed, with an atmosphere that whispers secrets and radiates an unsettling tension reminiscent of the iconic TV series. The gameplay skillfully blends investigative elements with adrenaline-pumping action, requiring strategic resource management and razor-sharp reflexes as you unravel mysteries that seem as vast as they are sinister. What truly sets this title apart is its intricate narrative, an unfolding drama that layers government conspiracies with supernatural terror, offering twists that keep you guessing at every turn. While its mechanics may evoke memories of familiar survival horror classics, the innovative integration of mystery solving and immersive storytelling elevates it to a league of its own. Every encounter and puzzle is crafted to intensify the feeling of isolation and urgency, ensuring that the dread lingers long after the game is over. The X-Files. Resist or Serve stands as a testament to creative audacity, inviting enthusiasts to experience a high-octane, meticulously detailed plunge into the unknown. Curse, The Eye of Isis, 2003. Curse, The Eye of Isis, 2003 marks an audacious plunge into survival horror where ancient myth and modern dread intertwine seamlessly. This title transports you to a shadowed world steeped in Egyptian mystique and occult terror, a realm where a malevolent curse seeps into every crevice of a decaying mansion and its labyrinthine corridors. In this unsettling universe, players are thrust into a harrowing narrative where a forgotten curse awakens, unspooling a series of enigmatic puzzles and chilling encounters. Every relic and cryptic symbol hints at a bygone era of pharaohs and forbidden rituals, creating an atmosphere thick with foreboding and suspense. The gameplay is a masterclass in tension and strategy. Maneuvering through eerie, dimly lit environments, you must balance scarce resources with nerve-wracking encounters against both human and supernatural adversaries. The combat system, while reminiscent of survival classics, introduces innovative twists that elevate each confrontation, ensuring that every skirmish is as unpredictable as it is intense. What sets Curse, The Eye of Isis apart from its more conventional counterparts, such as the ubiquitous Resident Evil series, is its distinctive fusion of lore and terror. Instead of simply echoing familiar tropes, it invites players to delve into a richly woven tapestry of myth, mystery, and relentless suspense. This enthralling blend of ancient curses and modern horror creates an experience that is both intellectually engaging and viscerally haunting, a true hidden gem in the survival horror landscape. Nocturne, 1999. Nocturne, 1999 is the kind of title that sends shivers down the spine of every true horror game aficionado. This isn't just another survival scare, it's a masterclass in atmospheric dread and intricate level design that only the purists can truly appreciate. From the moment you step into its foreboding corridors, the game grabs you with a relentless sense of impending doom. Every dimly lit hallway and creaking door is meticulously crafted to ratchet up the tension, forcing you to question whether the next shadow might conceal unspeakable terror. What sets Nocturne apart in our cherished genre is its uncompromising approach to resource scarcity and nerve-wracking encounters. The inventory system might remind you of those old-school, Tetris-like puzzles where every bullet, medkit, and key is a lifeline in a world that cares little for your survival. And those unpredictable enemy spawns, they're the kind of moments that have you double-checking every corner, a visceral reminder of why we fell in love with survival horror in the first place. The fusion of eerie sound design and meticulously crafted environments creates a haunting ambience that lingers long after the game is off. Nocturne's approach to environmental storytelling, where every creak, flicker, and echo has a tale to tell, cements its legacy as a cult classic. For the die-hard fans who live for those pulse-pounding moments of terror, Nocturne remains an indispensable, adrenaline-charged journey into the heart of horror gaming. Marvelous verdict. We are sure many of you likely encountered these titles back in the early 2000s, dismissing them as mere Resident Evil clones. Yet, if you love spine-tingling, nostalgic thrills, you're missing out on extraordinary experiences that go beyond a simple clone label. These games deliver unique twists, innovative mechanics, and unforgettable moments that redefine horror. Don't let preconceived notions rob you of those hair-raising encounters that shaped an era. Play these cult classics and relive the magic of survival horror at its finest. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button and subscribe for even more bone-rattling adventures you won't want to miss. Also, don't forget to tell us if you played any of these titles and, if you haven't, which one you will pick up next.